video, I'm gonna be going over the best decks in Dragon Ball Super card game, the decks that win more often than not, and these decks are for sure gonna get you some W's, so you definitely want to stay tuned for this one. So let's get straight into the video. First off, we got Son Goku Ultra Instinct Limit Surpassed. This deck right here, it's a winning deck. It's more on the expensive side. The leader on its own is very powerful. Ultra Instinct Mastered Goku has a pretty insane ability to see your opponent's hand just by detaching one card under it, and you're able to discard one card as well. That on its own makes this leader pretty bonkers. It's more on the expensive side. This leader will cost you around $700 to $600 if you want to get the full set. But the reason it costs so much is because if you want, the deck at its peak, you gotta run Son Goku and Vegeta Apex of Power, which is the Victory Strike, which is the secret rare. And honestly, that card on its own costs like $200 something. And then every other card in this deck that is played in this deck, like the Vegeta, is like $20 each. This is a very expensive deck, so if you are a huge fan of the Universe 7 and you want to win and you got a good amount of money saved up in your pocket, run this deck. This deck is definitely one that you want to run, and you will win if you pilot the deck very well. So that is one winning deck. So let's move on to another winning deck, and the other deck I want to talk about is Super Saiyan Son Goku, another Goku type of deck. And this is Super Saiyan God Son Goku, Surge of Divinity. So this deck right here runs the leader Super Saiyan God Son Goku, which on Awaken is pretty darn beast. It's another Surge leader, which is the dual color type of leaders. This one happens to be red and yellow, and what ends up happening here is our leader, every time he attacks, you draw 2, drop 1. Very generic ability, but very powerful. People be running some dual color yellow cards in here, like the Frost Deadly Poison. So overall, this is like a very unique type of deck. You do need a lot of the expensive cards to run this deck. The most expensive card to run this deck at its prime is Great Ape Son Goku, the Instinct Ape card. This card allows you to draw 2 from the drop, and honestly, that ability is pretty darn insane. That card right there costs like $70 each, I think, right now. So if you want to run this deck, you're going to be dropping at least more than $300 if you want to get it at its max rarity, because you also have to run like the secret rare, Black Smoke Dragon, maybe run some Grade 8 Bardock's, Raider's Cry that come out onto the field. Overall, Son Goku is gonna be like a $400, $500 type of deck. I'm talking about like $500 and up, man. If you want to play competitively, it's getting kind of expensive. So let's move on to a cheaper deck. It's still expensive, but not as expensive as the rest. That's also very competitive, and you will win a lot. So the next one happens to be Bibbidi Majin Buu, One with Nothingness. This deck right here is running around like $350. I know it's still a lot of money, but if you win, you're gonna be happy, right? But overall, this leader right here is a pretty explosive aggro, punch you in the face, bring out Majin Buu, and just keep punching you in the face type of deck. So Bibbidi, what he does is he has a unique awakening ability that when you have no cards in your hand, you're able to draw 3 cards and pick up 2 cards from your life, add them to your hand, and flip the leader over. So this deck runs heavily on having no cards in your hand to bring out the Majin Buu, the Rampage Majin Buu, and this Majin Buu allows you to bring out another Majin Buu from the drop area if you happen to have no cards in hand. And then if you continuously do this, when you have no cards in hand, you can just spam out the Majin Buus until eventually you bring out Majin Buu Supreme Evil. So once you bring out the Majin Buu Supreme Evil, this guy is overall just a beast. It's the super rare of the deck, and this card right here doesn't let your opponent draw cards from any effects other than your leader. And honestly, it's a triple strike 10k boost power card that's gonna ultimately finish the job. And you do have to run the Turles in here. And overall, if you want to run a very fun explosive aggro type of deck, run Majin Buu. Majin Buu is definitely a deck that will win a lot for you, but you do need to pilot it very, very, very well. Just letting you know, it's not the easiest deck to run. Then moving on to another deck that will win a lot, it's Cell, the dual color Surge Cell, Perfection Surpassed. I am perfection. I don't know, every time I hear Cell I gotta do that. But yeah, we got Cell, Perfection Surpassed. So this deck runs the Cell engine, but not the old Cell engine where you destroy your opponent's hand by bringing out the big Cell. This Cell engine destroys your opponent's hand by bringing out the little Cell and using the new successor ability, which is the ability to tally up a total amount of battle cards on the field's cost, and you're able to bring out and sacrifice them, if you will, to bring out a bigger battle card. So this deck is expensive because you do have to run the Super 17s, which is a super rare that upon being played, your opponent will lose all his lives until they have 4. And if they have all 8 lives, they'll lose 4 lives straight to the drop area. And then you bring out the Cell, which is the other super rare Cell, and that one is able to completely finish the job because it just destroys your opponent's hand. And overall, this deck is very, very expensive. If you want the deck at its prime, you do need Xeno Cell, which is the secret rare that is able to come out for free if you have the total amount of cards on the battlefield and you successor them correctly. You bring it out, it's quadruple strike, dual attack, and it's gonna ultimately finish the job. And like every other deck, it also runs the great apes, the Instinct apes that allow you to draw 2 when you send the card from the drop to the warp. That card right there is $70. I got mine for $7. I bought a lot of them for $7. I wish I would have kept them. I had no idea they were going to be that expensive. So Cell is another leader you could run if you really, really want to win in Dragon Ball Super card game. And let's move on to Piccolo, the one and only Piccolo, the one that's winning the most in my opinion. So we got Piccolo. This is another Surge leader, and Piccolo is a leader that will definitely win because of its pretty insane ability, Unawakened. His ability is at the beginning of your turn, you get to look at the top card of your deck, and if you don't like the card, you put it under your deck. And if you like the card, you draw that card. That's what Piccolo does. He lets you literally choose what card you're going to draw next. Every turn. Insane. That right there is pretty insane, and for that reason this leader is winning a lot. Awakened, he's even more insane. You detach a card and you're able to warp 2 cards from your opponent's hand or get an extra energy that happens to be dual color, blue and green. On its own, he's good, but people are usually running all sorts of type of decks with this. I've seen people run the Goku Black engine. I've seen people run with the yellow engine, so they make it blue, yellow, green type of deck. And some people run the successor in the Piccolo deck, but like every other deck, this deck also does run the apes. Being able to draw the card that you need next definitely plays a huge role on how you're gonna win. Let's move on to another deck, which is my favorite, and it happens to be Son Gohan, Father Son Kamehameha, Son Gohan, and Goku. This is a leader that literally the leader makes the whole deck. The leader is able to take lives and just make multiple attacks on Awaken, and then when you are at 3 lives or less, you awaken, and then you're able to pretty much go in with 3 triple strikes in one turn. 3 triple strikes in one turn is pretty insane, guys. And people are winning right now with the blue-green version, which is the most popular, where you're able to just super aggro your opponent down, and it's literally a turn 2 kill type of deck. And with this leader, you're literally gonna kill your opponent by turn 2. You pretty much swing, take lives, swing, take lives, bring out 1-drops, take more lives, awaken, attack with your leader, triple strike, play out feat Kamehameha to make it a triple strike crit, and then you ultimately finish the job by just continuously pressuring your opponent till they die. And that is Son Gohan. And if you want to win, Son Gohan's another leader. It's just, no, it's a little fragile. If you don't kill your opponent, you're more likely gonna lose. And last but not least, we got Broly, which is like a $500-$600 deck. Let's look at what Broly has. So Broly is a leader that allows you to draw every time he attacks, and when you attack, you're able to arrival by comboing red and green cards. You bring out your arrival cards, which happen to be the Broly super rares, or the, I guess, the 4-drop Broly. He's only running one of those, and the secret rare to finish off the job. But overall, you play out your Broly 1-drops to see your opponent's hand, destroy their hand, and then, you know, arrival your opponent to death, and ultimately finish the job with your leader, which will grant himself a double strike attack. Very insane ability. And also another ability to KO one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier. So overall, Broly is just a beast that's gonna win. So that is the end of the video, guys. These are the decks that are winning right now. So a quick rundown: we got Broly, Son Gohan, Piccolo, Cell, Bibbidi, Super Saiyan Goku, and Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku. If you guys want to win, run these decks. Just know you're gonna be dropping more than $300, depending on which one you get. Probably more. So hopefully you guys like this video. Sorry if I hurt your feelings by it being so expensive, but that's what it is. And good luck to you veterans out there that are playing with rogue decks and beating these metas. Stay super.